I tried a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon HeartGold using only grass types. This is the 4th video in this miniseries as I break down the challenge into manageable chunks. So if you haven't seen the other episodes yet, check out my channel to go get caught up. Otherwise, let's rejoin the action with me about to face Pryce's ice types. And well, would you look at that, another gym where the grass type is at a disadvantage. But Pryce's team do all share a weakness to grass moves, which allows for a remarkably simple strategy of setting up growth with time who, in her evolved state, has become a fully fledged team member. There is a potential flaw in my plan though. If Hail is up, then Piloswine's Snowflake ability could allow it to dodge Time's attacks and hit back with 100% accurate blizzards, and that's going to hurt. So to play around this, I ensure to KO Seal as the hail stops. Dugong comes out and he doesn't know hail, but he does do big damage into Time with an Ice Shard. Thankfully, Dugong's large base HP allows Sunflora to heal back to full with a growth boosted Mega Drain that one hits the blubbery boy. Pryce's Piloswine is all that remains, and he throws a spanner in the works by outspeeding Time and re-establishing hail. But Time doesn't miss her attack and OHKOs the big pig with one final boosted Mega Drain. That's an easy 6th badge, and if getting swept by a Sunflora doesn't put Pryce into his long overdue retirement, I don't know what will. And the fun doesn't stop as we head straight to Jasmine for what should be a very routine win. Venil tanks a T-Ball, then hits a 4x effective dig for a clean OHKO on Jasmine's lead Magnemite, and then Parsley comes in to cut her Ace Steelix down to size with a couple of choice specs boosted magical leaves. But I forget about her Steelix's Citrus Berry, which means that Meganium is unable to get a 2-shot and so Jasmine heals. I then risk a crit to bring in time to finish Jasmine's ace off, when I could just have let my starter take the kill. In hindsight, I have no idea why I did this, but it all works out fine. Jasmine's final Magnemite does get a double paralysis on Fennel, meaning my designated Magnemite killer has to retire early, but I have a backup plan in Basil, who is now equipped with Drain Punch. Yep, I had no idea she could learn this move either. Magnemite tries to go for some more Power Fusion BS, but Basil is just too tanky for the bucket of bolts, and she eventually lands enough punches to win me the mineral badge. Obtaining the 7th badge triggers the Team Rocket plotline, which ordinarily doesn't warrant talking about. But of course, when you have a team full of grass types, the Koffings and Zubats that are favoured by Rocket Grunts become a genuine problem. The battle with Executive Petrel could be a series of one-shots if I decide to evolve my Execute already. But by doing so, I would lose access to the move Psychic at level 47, which coincidentally is the Elite 4 level cap. So instead, we scrape by thanks to a held Kebia Berry and Meganium doing some heavy lifting against Petrel's Wheezing. This then leads me straight into another challenge, the rival fight in the underground warehouse. Again, in most Johto playthroughs, this fight is a bit of a joke as your rival is quite underleveled for this stage in the game. But naturally his team is a mix of ice, fire, poison, flying and steel types, so we're going to have to slog this one out as well. Cilantro can Leech Seed, Synthesis and Protect stall Bland's Golbat lead, but unfortunately she takes a critical Air Cutter and Confusion damage as the bat falls. This baits out Sneasel, so forces me to switch to Basil, who can tank both an Icy Wind and Feint Attack, before she responds with a Drain Punch for a clean OHKO, with the added bonus of healing back to full HP. This allows her to risk a critical Flame Wheel from Quilava in exchange for putting him to sleep, and then once again, Meganium pulls through for us, sinking both my rivals Quilava and Haunter. Although Parsley does need a bit of help from Time and self-inflicted curse damage to exorcise the ghost. With my rival's most dangerous Pokemon defeated, all that remains is his Magnemite. An easy kill for Fennel, who hasn't seen a great deal of action lately. Nice one, mate. Rocket Executives Proton and Ariana fall without much difficulty. But up next is one of the hardest fights in the game, Archer, which is primarily difficult for grass types because he has a very scary Houndoom. I have a plan for this fight, which involves Dual Screen's Meganium walling first Archer's Houndour with Reflect and then his Koffing with Light Screen to nerf both of their attacking outputs. But what's not part of the plan is Houndour using Roar to drag out Gloom just as Meganium was about to take the KO. This also coincides with my team's Reflect wearing off, meaning Houndour's Fire Fangs have just become pretty punchy. I send out Cilantro so that she can down the Hound with a U-turn, allowing Parsley to come back in for free. But without Reflect up, Cilantro takes big damage for playing her part. Parsley sets up Light Screen as Koffing's most threatening move is Sludge, and then it's back to Cilantro to deal with Koffing with a good old Leech Seed Protect and Synthesis stall. Except that she misses her attack and takes a bit more damage from Sludge. This isn't the end of the world, as she lands a Leech Seed on her next turn, but then Koffing Sludge lands a critical hit, right when it mattered. That is always the risk you run when setting up screens, and I guess I got complacent and should have healed before trying to connect with Leech Seed. With that painful mistake, we have lost a very valuable team member. Parsley comes back in to take revenge on Coughing. This is a slow process involving lots of healing with Synthesis, but it allows me to ensure we have Reflect on the field prior to Houndoom entering the fray. This prevents Houndoom's Firefangs from doing insane damage to Meganium, and my starter can alternate between chipping away at Archer's Ace and healing with Synthesis, when all the while, the Reflect counter ticks down. As Reflect fades, Meganium has just enough HP remaining to survive the full force of Firefang, but we need to dodge the potential crit, burn, and flinch chances. Phew! Before Parsley departs, he resets Reflect, and I switch to Basil, who reaps the benefit of Meganium only having 3 HP. Here the AI sees that any of Houndoom's 4 moves would have knocked out my starter, and he opts for Bite for modest damage. From behind Parsley's screen, Basil still takes huge damage from Firefang, but thanks to her held Citrus Berry and the HP recovered from Drain Punch, she can finish Houndoom and end the resurgent Team Rocket. And so we win the battle, but we may just have lost the war. What this challenge has opened my eyes to is just how slow most Grass-type Pokemon are, with Jumpluff being a notable exception. I must admit, I thought long and hard about just resetting the run here. Cilantro was such a reliable lead into almost any team, with her ability to set up Leech Seed and then either stall with Protect and Synthesis or U-turn to safety. But as we have come this far, we may as well play this a 10th out. That though, we'll have to wait for a new episode. Like, subscribe, etc, etc. Otherwise, this is Redfog, saying TTFN.